You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This week's episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Imaging Services, Chiro Thin, Universal Tractioning Systems, Zingit Solutions, Dr. Peter Goldman's Zone School of Healing, Everest Coaching Systems, True Chiro, the Social Health Experts Summit, Chiropractic Jobs Online, Rhino Coaching, Chiro Matchmakers, and Chiro Moguls. Let's hustle.
Hey everybody, welcome to a morning edition. This is the Chiro Hustle live stream. I have Tanner Chidester with me today. This guy's down in Houston, Texas. I am in Grand Junction, which is in the Grand Valley on the western slope of Colorado. I moved here to hear the birds chirp, and up there is our sponsor today, and that's Posture Screen, the Posture Screen app. Get a hold of Joe Ferrantelli. I'm going to float the web address on the bottom of our screen here so you guys know where to go. It's postureanalysis.com. Reach out to those guys and get onto this app. It's amazing. It'll help you guys with posture in your clinics. But before we get jumping into this one, I just want to thank Tanner for being my guest today, and welcome to the show, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
So you're not my typical guest, man. I usually interview chiropractic professionals, students, people that are like sponsors and things of that nature, but you're a fitness pro. Tell me a little bit about that. How did you get there?
Yeah, so I think even a little earlier, I was just telling you, so I was in college. I played football all the way up until college, got hurt in college, and that was kind of the time I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And so I was studying petroleum engineering, and I just remember I wasn't very happy. It was just like, I knew I was going to make six figures, but I was just like, oh my gosh, if I have to do this the rest of my life, I might go mad. Like, there's no way. And that was at the time that I met my mentor. And he just took me out for lunch. He was like, hey dude, like, what do you want to do with your life? And I was like, I want to make a lot of money. He's like, all right. So that's what it was at the time, right? It's like, I just want to make a lot of money because I grew up in a big family. So we didn't always have, I never went without, but we didn't have a ton. We had 7 kids. And so he's like, well, look, you should start a business. He's like, it's never going to happen, working for someone else. So I was like, okay. So I was like, what do I do? And he's like, well, you've done fitness your whole life. Why don't you do fitness? So okay. So I remember I went to his office. I started working there every single day. And I was working for free, but he was just kind of showing me the ropes, like emails and opt-ins and click funnels, like just all this stuff that I'd never seen before. Right. And learned that. And actually for about the first 2 years, made about $2,000. It was a joke. I had like a $47 program. I was on social media. I'm trying to promote it, get people to buy it. And it just like didn't work. And after that, 2 years go by and I'm about 25 at this time. And I just remember thinking, if I don't make it work this year, I'm going back to school. Because, 2 years doesn't seem like a long time, but when you're grinding day in and day out, doing a server job, getting yelled at, all this stuff, and then you're working 6 hours on your business, you're just like, is it even worth it? Right? You get to that point. So I remember I went to, I finally got a coach. I hadn't had a coach before. And I'll even tell people, most of the coaches I had, I don't think they were honestly like that great, to be honest, but I didn't realize people would buy high ticket. Like I never heard of high ticket. And I remember I was selling my $47 planes, like, dude, like, why don't you sell 1,500 plus? And I was like, okay. So during those 2 years, I've been doing door-to-door sales. I was a waiter. I was a server. Like I had a lot of this like interaction with people, and I knew how to talk and I knew how to persuade. So I got on the phone. I remember my first week, I made like 10 grand. And I was like, what the frick? I was actually upset because I made more in a week than I made in like 3 months. Right. It was crazy to me. And I quit all my jobs and I went full time since then. And then in about the last 18 months, I've gotten 2 Common Club awards, 2 of them. And like part of it is helping people get in shape. And then part of it is helping other trainers replicate what I did. So, that's kind of the short version.
No, it's really cool. It's interesting how you came into your space and you kept on working. You kept on building the bricks before you could like walk on the road.
Yeah, it was brutal. It was brutal. I could go into a lot of detail, but yeah, I think I almost quit about 5 times. I call him up. I'm like, dude, I can't do it anymore. Like I quit. And he's like, just don't quit. And finally I kind of had my break. And, once you have a little bit of cash saved up and stuff like that, you have a lot more options available to you.
So what was the hardest thing for you to like figure out to like say this is it? This is the day that it was like I this is the day that changed it, man.
I mean, I guess it would be the day where I made that first deal. I mean, I was on the phone with someone and I was talking to him, and the sales pitch was not that great. Like, I was super nervous, my hands are sweating, but I just remember I was like, "Hey, man, yeah, it's like $2,500 for 4 months," and like I was like, "There's no way in hell this guy's gonna say this." He's like, "Yeah, sounds good." I was like, like my face, I was like, "No freaking way!" And I signed him up, and I don't know if it was a godsend, but my first 3 deals I signed up like in full, and I just couldn't believe it. I was like, "This is crazy to me." And from there, that was kind of the turning point, because once I saw it was possible, it's a lot. You have a lot more confidence, and so I just kind of kept moving from there. Honestly, that was kind of the day that I guess everything changed. Yeah.
That's cool. And you know, I know you're saying that you're developing a team and you're helping more people position with you. That's something that they can all learn from too, is, you know, it's all your approach. It's not
Oh, yeah.
you. It's the things that you're doing. It's the things that you're saying. It's that one thing inside of you, like getting a coach. You know, I didn't know how things could actually move faster for me until I decided that was a good idea as well. And I think that you probably agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, there's only 2 ways to kind of get help from people. Either you pay for it or you do well enough till they want to be in your circle. I mean, it's just the facts, you know? So I've been blessed as of recently to kind of be able to move into some circles without having to pay for it. But, you know, from the beginning, I mean, I think I've paid for like 8 or 9 coaches till now. And, you know, I even told you earlier, I don't think some of them, like, I didn't really see an ROI. But still, it kind of like you learn very quickly what to do and what not to do either way. And so you can kind of really cut that time down. And so what I'm starting to find out is, like, if you can get your time back, it's worth it, because you can always make more money, but you can't get your time back.
Amen. You know, one of the things I wanted to talk to you today is about funnels. And I know that those framed things behind you are something that represents 2 Comma Award.
Yeah.
Why are ClickFunnels so important to people's business today?
Yeah. I mean, I think the first thing maybe to acknowledge is, like, you don't necessarily have to use ClickFunnels, but ClickFunnels is what I was introduced to, and it's kind of what I'm going to stick with. You know, Russell's really kind of created a great brand around it. They work, and I guess, like, the point of a funnel, for those who are listening, if you don't know what that is, it's just an ascension model. It's basically to get a customer to see who you are, and they slowly kind of move through it, almost like maybe a book where, you know, it's like 5 pages and each step has a certain task assigned or thing that you want to have happen. And so it's just very efficient at taking someone and pushing them through, which turns into leads, which turns into clients.
Yeah, and I think that that's really cool for people to know, like the nuts and bolts of it. But how do you get a funnel to work? I know everybody's out there like, damn it, I have funnels. These things are like, I have a $97 account each month, or I pay $299 a month. I can't get my damn funnels to work. What's the secret to people?
Yeah, well, I mean, the hardest thing to do, I would tell people this. I mean, the hardest thing to do with a funnel is a low ticket model, right? And a low ticket, you know, is anything I would consider maybe like, you know, maybe $497 or below, maybe even lower. And that's what a lot of people go for, right? Because, you know, they see Russell and they're like, oh, Russell did that. But a lot of times it's just your system. Everything has to be kind of perfect. And so, you know, if you have a funnel and it's not working, I mean, it could be your copy, it could be your button, it could be your offer, it could be the picture. I mean, there's a million different things that are wrong. So for a lot of beginners, every time I get on a podcast, I say for 99% of beginners, the best thing you can do is a high ticket offer first, because it makes up for those errors. It makes up for the things that are incorrect that you won't know how to fix, or you don't have the money to hire out. And that was one thing I didn't understand. And that's probably been the biggest benefit to me, is doing high ticket first, because now that I have cash, I can go to these guys like Kevin David or these other guys making tons of money who are great at making courses and course funnels and stuff like that. So I think that's the biggest thing, is like, you don't know what's wrong, right? So I felt the same way. I was like, what the hell is wrong with my funnel? But when you're not experienced and you can't pay for someone to look at it, that's the problem. There is stuff wrong with it, but you're not experienced enough to know. And it's not your fault. It's just, you don't know. And even I don't know. Like, I could look at someone's funnel, I'm like, man, I don't know what's wrong. It looks pretty good to me, right? So I think it's an experience thing, and that's why for 99% of people, I always say do high ticket first, because you can get cash, you can go out and hire people, get experience, and then that puts you in a position to win long term. Without cash, it's very hard to grow at some point. You have to get money to make money at some point, is my opinion.
That's amazing. Great advice, man. And one of the things I want to touch on there with you is I know most people are probably cash strapped. What are some good organic approaches that people can get to start doing before they can say, okay, now I'm going to go all in and I'm going to go for paid traffic?
Yeah, shoot. Well, the first thing is, no matter what you do, I always say that the proof of concept to know if your offer is valuable and people want it is to get credit cards. So, and I'll have guys who are like, oh, like, I have, 100 people who said they'd buy this if I put it out. I'm like, dude, did you get a credit card? No. Okay, no, they don't want to buy it. Because it's like anything. People are like, oh, yeah, that sounds great. But when it comes time to pay for it, are they going to pay for it? So the number one thing I would say to someone is, like, if you have a certain offer, go out and try to test it and get clients. And the best way to get clients, if you're doing at least a high ticket model, is honestly, like, you leverage your social media. You go message people, you go in Facebook groups, you post valuable content, start conversations. When you have no money, that's really your only option. In terms of low ticket funnels, I wouldn't even know what to tell someone. I tell them not to do it, because that's the problem, right? It's like, even if you go out and get 5 people to buy, if it's $47, well, congrats. Like, you're going to pay for your toilet paper. It's not enough money. So I would say, again, I know this is annoying. Probably people are like, oh my gosh, this guy loves high ticket too much, but I'm not against low ticket. I'm just against it when you don't have money. And so I would always say, get some type of offer that you can charge anywhere between, even $1,000 plus, and you can get them on the phone, and it's easier to sell that way. You can make more air. So go out to your audience and start messaging them, create conversations, and, refine your techniques. Most people are not very good at it. So they'll say, oh, that doesn't work. Always look at yourself first and go, why isn't it working? Because it does work. It's just, you got to figure out what you're doing wrong.
I love the advice, dude. One of my good friends I played college soccer with is on. His name is Ruben Indadelli, and he's a coach. He's been coaching for 20 years, dude. Soccer. And he's somebody that's interested in ClickFunnels. My buddy Tim McFadden's on right now. He's doing ClickFunnels as well. But Ruben's like, what do I do, man? I go, I don't know. I was like, I can help you as much as I can, but what do you want to do? And he goes, I want to help coaches, and I want to give people tools. And I'm like, well, if you think about it this way, if you can teach a team, any team, how to win one more game, that's your creative brand. If you can create a system that can get any team to win one more game any season, now you have something that makes you unique, and that's a high ticket offer. And I was like, and then that helps so many people. If you can bring your expertise of 20 years and teach that to people, that's going to be a game changer.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, the hardest thing is just deciding what you're going to sell, right?
Yes.
Once you decide what you're going to sell, you just start implementing. And, I think it goes back. I mean, Will Smith says this, right? Like, he gets in these interviews, he gets real passionate and crazy, but it's literally just sitting down with pen and paper. And it's like, decide what you're going to do, know how you're going to do it, and then just do it, right? So the best way to do it is reverse engineer it. So, like, if Ruben's on right now, it's like, Ruben, I'd start with, like, how much you want to make or what kind of impact you want. So you're like, hey, I want to have, I want to make $100,000 a year. Okay, like, you can work back from that and go, okay, so how many coaches do I need to help? What am I going to sell my price at? You're like, okay, I need, 20 coaches at $5,000. Okay, and then how are you going to structure your offer? It's a lot easier to kind of backtrack instead of try to work forward. I always look at my goal, and that helps me backtrack. So now, as a guy who's trying to get to 8 figures a year, it's very easy to know what's missing, because I can go here and go, what am I missing? It's like, okay, missing enough closers, missing this, and then it becomes easy to kind of work your way up, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. And, I said the first thing you got to do, Ruben, is get clear with what you want to do, and then find out who your avatar is. Yeah. And I was like, create everything that you do for one person. I was like, think of your ideal person that you want to be your client. And I was like, and that's who we go to and give them an offer and help them grow their business.
Yeah, and then just make sure they're old enough to pay you. That's the big thing too. I'll meet some fitness guys and they're like, hey, I want to help teenagers. I'm like, dude, that's amazing. but they're not going to be able to pay you. You're going to have to go through the parents, and it's like too much hassle. And I'm just like, make sure your demographic fits, what you're doing. So like, for example, if he wants to help teams, like make sure you're talking to the coaches and not the kids. The kids is not the right people to talk to. Yeah.
You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This week's episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Imaging Services, Chiro Thin, Universal Tractioning Systems, Zingit Solutions, Dr. Peter Goldman's Zone School of Healing, Everest Coaching Systems, True Chiro, the Social Health Experts Summit, Chiropractic Jobs Online, Rhino Coaching, Chiro Matchmakers, and Chiro Moguls. Let's hustle.
Yeah, that's great advice, man. And I think that what he really wants to do is get more kids qualified to get scholarships and to advance their careers past their high school levels.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it's definitely an admirable goal. It's just like sitting down, deciding how that's going to become how you can monetize it. Because once you can monetize it, it's really fun. Then you can really help a lot of people.
And he says awesome advice.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. I love this. I love this platform because people get a chance to be interactive with us. And if you guys are out there watching, just tell us where you guys are watching from. If you guys watch us on replay, hashtag replay in the comments there. And if you guys are getting value from this, hashtag value, so we know that we have a good audience out there. We appreciate you guys being on with us today. I know you guys could do so many things during your afternoons, but thank you for being on there with us today. Let's talk about. I know that you came in. You said, dude, I was doing this. I was hitting walls. I was, going out there waiting tables. I was struggling. I was hiring coaches. Things weren't moving the way I wanted to. I know this resonates with so many people out there, including myself. Once you hit the sweet spot, let's talk about scaling now. And is that an ideal process for most people?
Shoot, man, probably not. I mean, it's just like I want to say yes, but I think the truth is like what I've noticed is that once I got to a certain level, and I still have a long way to go. I mean, you start feeling super small. I mean, I even went to this like 2 Comma Club mixer thing, and there were so many guys in there. I'm like, geez, everyone has one of these things, right? You don't much anymore, but scaling does take a lot of work. It takes a lot of team. So the hardest thing is to find quality people who will do a good job. So to be honest, I think for most people, it's not worth it. I think for most people, if they're making, 100,000 plus a year, they're happy. And so you can do that all by yourself, essentially. Now you might maybe have 1 or 2 employees part-time, something, but ultimately, like, it depends on your vision and your goals. I don't know why. I even, sometimes my own coaches are like, why do you want to make 10 million? And I'll be like, dude, I just like to grow. And, there's other stuff in there, but I'm just obsessed with growth. I love it. I love growing. I love building. I love having more clients. I love seeing people get results. And so, it depends on your goal. I think if your goal is to spend as much time with your family as possible, probably scaling is not for you. But when you're 27 and have no kids and got all the time in the world, be selfish, it's different, right? So
that's cool. It's great advice because I know that what we've done with Chiro Hustle is we've just given, create content. And I know that there's a threshold for that too. And then you turn the page and the next thing you know that you're in the stratosphere. And I think a lot of times people want to get into marketing and they think that they get into marketing and they start creating something they want paid. Like, I want paid now. And I think so many people don't realize is that you have to, like you said, everything has to be right. It might not be the funnel. It might be the volume of people that love and appreciate you. It might be the people that will actually raise their hand to your offer. It might not even be the funnel. It might be the core values that you project to your audience. And if people buy into your core values that you're projecting, then you can scale exponentially from a relationship status point.
Yeah. Paid traffic's cool if it works. If it doesn't work, then you hate your life because you go broke real fast. So it's one of those things when you run paid traffic, you better make sure it works.
And just like they always say, don't quit your day job, right?
Yeah, don't. For me, like, I didn't even start running paid traffic till I had, if you don't have enough money to where you're like, if I lost all this, I'm okay, then you probably shouldn't be running paid traffic.
Exactly. And it's an investment for your future. And I think that a lot of times people that they don't realize how quickly they can lose their money if they don't have the right strategy in place.
Oh, yeah. Facebook will take it real fast. Yeah.
Facebook wants your money, dude.
Facebook doesn't care about the results. They're just like, as long as that money keeps coming in. So
Let's just give people a quick little strategy. First, you create good content. You find out what your high ticket value is that you can offer to somebody. You figure out the brains of the click funnel systems. You figure out the brains of ads manager and how to run proper Facebook ads.
Yep.
And then you keep on adding value, and then you scale. And then you realize if you want to be to where you're at, or if you want to turn back the page a little bit and be happy with the growth that you've actually achieved.
Yeah, and I would say also just one other thing is just like don't put content out and expect people to come to you. That's like a pipe dream. So it's like for me, what I realize is a lot of my students is like, yes, put content out, but anyone who engages with your content or anyone who's in a group, whatever, reach out to them because like here's the thing, people go, well, what if I'm bothering them? Like, well, what if you are? Who cares? Because at the end of the day, the reality is that unless you are making money, your business will die and you can't help people if you don't make enough money, right? People get it backwards. They think making money is evil, but I'm like, if you can't take care of yourself, how can you possibly take care of other people? Right?
That's a good point.
So when your back's up against the wall, think about it. Like if your back was up against the wall, you had to make 2 sales today. Are you going to post a picture and then go, Matt, all right, wait for him to hit? No, you're going to freaking go out and knock on everyone's door, message every person. And so I just kind of take that mentality and it's like, yes, do it in a tactful way where they're like, oh my gosh, dude, like you're just breathing down my back. But people want your service, but a lot of times like they're too lazy or too busy to reach out to you. Like I'll have guys just hit me up. They're like, yo, dude, seeing you doing this, this, and this. Would you be interested in that? I'm like, yeah, maybe. Yeah, actually, maybe I am. So that's just a big thing too. I see a lot of people, they post content like that doesn't work. And I'm like, yeah. So like, even though it's not optimal, going and knocking on people's doors, it's not optimal, but it does work. You can get sales that way, right? Like door-to-door sales. I would say it's the same thing when you slide in someone's DM on Facebook. I'll take that for what it's worth.
Yeah, I love it, dude. I think that everybody has to learn an effective strategy. And, you know, something that I didn't tell you that I did, but before I started this podcast, I went out and I did 600 chiropractic screening events in 2.5 years. So I don't know if you know what that means. I know you worked in an office before.
That's what it means.
So you know that, you know, bootstrapping isn't just like an idea like, I'm going to read a book. I'm going to buy a program. I'm going to buy a course. And then I'm just going to kind of hang out with my friends.
Yeah.
That don't happen, bro.
It's a lot of work. So, you know, I respect you for that, man. That's hard.
So let's switch this conversation a little bit to chiropractic because that's our primary audience. And one of the things I wanted to touch on with you is mission trips because one of our Shannon Darrow's on with us and she organizes mission trips.
Awesome.
One of the things I want to talk to you though is why is it so important for people, just the general public, to make sure that their spine is healthy?
Jeez, man, if your spine's not healthy, you're going to be in a world of hurt. I've actually had a couple, not back surgeries, but I've actually had, stress fracture. Can't even think of it right now. I actually have a brace. I'm not going to grab it, but I actually have a brace over there. It's a scoliosis looking brace, right, for your back. So, I mean, in terms of your back, if your back's hurt, anything you do is going to hurt because all your movement kind of stems from there. So, yeah, if your spine's not healthy, your back's not healthy, you're going to be in a world of hurt. I went through a lot of that, and I still sometimes when my back hurts now, I'll put that brace on because it's very uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable.
But even for like a fitness pro like yourself, what you're saying is that even the core of you needs maintenance. It's not just like the outer appearance that most people really like,
right.
You know, they pay attention to. It's the nervous system. It's the way that the articulation of the bones move. It's the way that the body has harmony from the inside out. And I think so many people think that's an outside in thing. And really, it's just like the funnel. If the funnel doesn't work effectively, the cell doesn't go through, man.
Right. No, I mean, I would agree with that. I even think even as I've gotten more into business and less into sports, I remember when I was a young kid, I used to look at people and go, oh my gosh, like, how are you out of shape, man? Like, good grief. Like, I eat whatever I want and I look amazing, right? Like, I'm a little kid. All I do is play sports. But as you get older, it becomes even more important because you're sitting longer, you're in an office, you're not moving as much. And so if you just add on to that with, you know, eating poorly or not taking care of your back, yeah, it just amplifies everything. And ultimately, when you turn like 50, 60, I think that's when people really start to see the lack of taking care of themselves, right? Like, I have 2 grandmas. One is like running around, jumping on trampolines. The other one can barely hobble around. And it's like, you just kind of see who took care of themselves and who didn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's not just like a New Year's thing. It's a consistent thing. And, you know, the person that gets it, I always meet people, bro, and they're like, "Yep, I went to the chiropractor twice, and I'm perfect I'm perfect now." And I'm like, it's just like staying hydrated, bro. You gotta like drink so much water each day. It's just like there's so many. Yeah, there's maintenance. And I think that so many people don't realize that they need a good healthcare professional. They need somebody to give them advice, not only on their eating right, but their thinking right, their exercise, and they need to have somebody with a healthy Rolodex for them to refer them to. And I think so many times people come in and they get stuck in the medical model and they think that chiropractic isn't a solution for them. And they think that chiropractor is only a solution for them when it's their last ditch effort. And I think that so many people are just like us, and they're like, well, I don't know. Why would I go there?
Yeah. No, and I agree. I would agree with that. Like, even I find myself doing that sometimes. So it's one of those things, like, by the time you usually go, it's kind of too late. Just like when people stop going to the gym and then they finally go back, or you wait till you're hurt and then you go to the chiropractor. At that point, it's kind of like, man, you're pretty screwed up. You got to stay here for a while now. So it's one of those things, if you just can keep going consistently, it pays off in the long run for sure.
Well, one of the things I want to touch on before we close out is Shannon Darrow. What can she do better to use technology to be more effective with her mission trips?
Man, well, so I mean, the first thing is, you might not know this. Is it like how do I put it? Like kind of charitable? So it's like she's not earning money from it, or does she actually earn money from doing it?
I'm not sure. I think it's a non-for-profit, and what she does is brings down groups of chiropractors, and they go out there and they adjust. She's doing something in El Salvador right now, and then she's got something scheduled for Jamaica. So I know what they do. They bring down a group and they adjust the people.
Oh, they bring them down there and do that. Yeah. So I guess like Shannon, for you, it would just depend first off if you're making money from it or not. Like, I'm not very familiar with nonprofits. So I don't want to give you bad advice. Like, I used to hate when guys would give me advice they don't know what they're talking about. So I would tell you in that instance, I don't know what you're talking about. But depending on, like, if you are getting funds, you know, I guess I would just have to know more about the model, because I'm very hesitant to give her bad advice. I wish I could give you something more clear, but I guess it's going to depend on her model, because I don't know how she's monetized that. And if she's not, then I definitely don't know what to tell her, because I'm just thinking, how do you do that without spending money and so forth? So I wish I had a little better advice on that, but I don't want to speak out of turn.
No, I get it. And that's the thing, is what everybody has is something really special, and they have something really like great to give. And the worst people are those amazing idea people that don't do anything with it. Because, but she's really actually moving the foot forward and going out there and serving communities and getting people healthy and opening people up to the chiropractic lifestyle that otherwise wouldn't be able to have access.
Yeah, I mean, I would just tell her there's definitely a way to do it. So I'm not the right guy to ask, but there's definitely someone who would know. So whether you post in the funnels group or you talk to someone who's a little higher up in business, like, there's definitely got to be a way to do it. I'm just not like, don't ask me.
No, that's cool. And I know that we're almost on the edge of our time with each other today. Is there anything I didn't talk to you about that you wanted to share with my audience?
Oh man, I really appreciate you having me. Like, I think we got what we wanted to say. So thank you so much for having me again.
Yeah, and I just really appreciate you opening up and doing a little Q&A with our audience today too, and giving so much value to us, because I just want people to know that, you know, if you create good content and people buy into you as the charismatic leader, you can do anything with social media. You can do anything with the technology. This is the one point in our life where the playing field is so damn like level that anybody that has any great ideas with ambition that will wake up and work every day, you can get to where you want to be. And that's really, you know, the story behind Chiro Hustle is you're just one story away. Keep hustling. Just like Russell would say, you're just one funnel away. Mm-hmm. And I think that, you know, those things marry each other, the hustle with the funnel. And, you know, you got a fitness professional there, you have a chiropractic advocate here, and you have chiropractors out there that are getting people driving traffic to them, that are getting conversions using the systems that you use. So whether it's a fitness professional, a chiropractor, a podcaster, this stuff is universal for everybody, but it doesn't work unless you have the big idea and the big vision behind it.
Yeah, 100%. So I 100% agree. I appreciate you having me so much, and hopefully we do this a little bit bit more sometime.
Yeah, man. And if you guys have questions for Tanner or myself, you guys can send those into the chat there. And I just want to say thank you again to Joe Ferrantelli and his amazing company at the Posture Screen app. And if you guys want to get more information, go to the website right here or click above. It's in the description up there. It's postureanalysis.com. And thank you to all of our sponsors for keeping free speech alive and well in the chiropractic space. And thank you, Tanner. I'm going for my 2 Comma Club next so I can join that group of people that everybody just like them.
Absolutely, dude. Awesome.
All right, man. Well, I'm going to close out. You guys just one story away. Keep hustling. I'll catch you on the next one. Love and appreciate you.
Thank you for listening to Chiro Hustle Live. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.